We can start building our form into the layout now. And what we're going to do is create two columns, basically, bootstrap columns, and align our form on the left. So it kind of follows with the layout that's there right now. So we're going to start off with a class that's going to equal row. And then we'll set up our columns. So the columns are going to be mediums. And we're going to do column medium 6. And we're going to have two of those. So I'm just going to copy this and paste down here. Okay, so now we can start with our form. We'll have a method that's going to be a post. And we're going to create our form groups. So we'll have a class of type form group. And what we're going to do is copy these. We have basically 3 areas. So we have our name, our email, and then a place to type in a text message. So the first way we're going to do this is basically like a straight form without tag helpers and see how to capture that data on the back end. Okay, so we are going to create our input, or actually our label first, and we're going to do an ASP.NET 4. This is going to be for name, and we're going to have a class that's going to have control label, and we'll just do a name here. And you can see we're getting this error, so it's saying that this name is not inside of our model, which is completely correct. We'll have to create that as a property, and basically we're going to be binding to it. But already the layout, the view knows that this doesn't exist in the model because we are using this tag helper. So we're just going to keep going forward, and we'll start filling in some of these properties that we're missing. So this again is also name, and this is going to be a class control, form control. All right, and we're going to create next the email. So we're going to have a label ASP.NET 4 email. And we're going to as well another class control label. And we'll just do email. And we'll copy this one, paste it here. This is also going to be email. Then we get into our next one, which is going to be label ASP.NET 4, and we'll call this message. Have a class control label, and we're going to start with a text area on this one instead of a text box. So text area ASP.NET 4 message. Okay, and we need a button, so we're just going to put that one. We could put it in a form group, but I'm just going to put it out here, which is going to be type submit. We'll have a value of submit and submit. So we can't actually run this right now because we are missing these properties, and we're going to go ahead and add those. So up here, we're going to add a few properties. You can see here I'm using some of these private fields to fill in the username and password just to make it a little bit easier for me, because some of the parts of the screen will be blurred out, and now I can just do this one section. So we have email, which we can't use this way, and I'm just going to call this email private. And now we're going to create our properties, and I'll create them here. So public, and actually I'll just go with prop. This is going to be a string. We'll have name, and we'll as well have email. And good practice would have been just to make those probably capital. And then we'll have as well a string for message. All right, so if we save, let's go back over here now, see if this is all happy, and it looks like it. So let's just check this out at runtime to make sure at least the form looks right. All right, and we'll go to contact. Okay, so we probably need to put a breakpoint right there, and we can go back in here and just make a few changes on that. So let's see here on this label, we'll do that and save. Okay, so we're going to set some breakpoints and see what happens when we start submitting anything. And we're going to capture right here. And we have our send mail, so we are going to bring that up here. and not use it just yet. We're going to test to make sure our data is coming through first. All right, so we're going to go ahead and run it. We're going to submit our form and see what happens. All right, so go to contact, and I'll just put in my name, put in a test email, and submit. Okay. So if we look at these, there's nothing in them, and I'm just going to add these to the watches just so we can start looking at them and seeing what happens. All right, so there's that one. We'll add this one. We'll add this one. Also, if you weren't using tag helpers and you were just capturing the post from a regular form, that would be in the request form and in the name of the key. So in this case, it would be name. And let's just see what we have there. So there's some of that data coming through. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and add the remaining ones. So we have email and message. So they're all there inside of the request. So they can still be caught like that. They can definitely be caught like that. But we're wanting to actually bind these to these properties so they're available throughout at a class level. And the way we're going to do that is with an attribute bind property. We're going to add this to each one. All right, so let's see what we have now. Okay, so we'll go to contact, type in my name and email. Okay, and before I submit, notice our message is coming through already, so it's not actually supposed to be coming through right now. We'll have to handle that. So let's submit, and everything is getting filled out. Our properties are there, so now we can make use of them inside of our post and send them into send mail. So we'll have to parameterize this send mail function. Let's go ahead and do that. There are 3 things we're going to be sending in here. So we'll have a string for name, we'll have a string for email, and a string for message. And this one right here is going to be email private. This is going to be name. And this is going to be email. Then we'll have the subject is going to be fixed. And we're going to do, let's see here, the body of this is message. Let's call this message body so we don't conflict with our other message. Private variable we've got there. Okay. And then we need to take those parameters and add them here. So we'll have name, email, message, and save. You might be wondering why parameterize this method whenever these properties are class level, so you don't really need to pass them in. They're just going to be available to the method anyway, basically out of habit. And right now, if you want to take away the class level of these properties and do something different so that you can isolate that method, you don't have something at the class level scope, it's already refactored. If you want to use a code behind file, so a .cs file, and push everything into there, the method will already be refactored for parameters. It can be unit tested at that point. So it's not really doing us much here, but again, it's just out of habit. So just a note on that in case you was wondering why parameterize it. So let's just check and see now and make sure that all of that is coming through in this message. And then what we can do is a full test of our message, and just to see if it actually gets sent. All right. So we'll fill in our form, send a submission. Okay, so what do we have? We have values for everything, which we'll of course fill in here for our message. So what we're going to do is go ahead and stop now, and in our next lesson we're actually going to go ahead and I'll put in my information for the keys that I'm going to need, so username, password, the email, and actually have this submit. And then we're going to go look in Gmail and see if it comes through.